KOMU 8 News starts with breaking news.
Breaking news this evening, Governor Parson is expected to hold a news conference in Springfield any minute now. We learned just before the 5 o'clock newscast that Missouri now has a second presumptive positive case of the coronavirus. We are waiting to take a live stream of this news conference when it begins. Again, the governor is expected to announce the state's second case of coronavirus. We know that the Springfield mayor will also be there, as well as Springfield health officials. It will take place at the Bush Municipal Building in Springfield. More details, of course, we're expecting to hear from the governor at this conference. Stick with us throughout the newscast. We'll try to dip into it live as it happens. Back here in mid-Missouri, an empty campus tonight at MU. Today was the first day of no in-person classes. More and more schools are moving online as the pandemic continues. KOMU 8's Stephanie LaChance is live on campus to show us how students are reacting.
I'm at Speaker Circle right outside of Mizzou's campus. This area behind me is typically filled with students and food trucks, but today campus feels a little bit different. This place feels like a ghost town.
No matter what, we're still going to have to do our job.
Amanda Wade is an MU student, but has more than just classes to worry about.
I was a little surprised about it. The nursing school told us pretty much in advance and a couple of days before the email got that this could happen. It could affect clinical. But as of right now, it's not affecting clinical or just our work in general because it's like our everyday life to go in and do our job.
Part of her curriculum means going to clinicals.
We might have to do 12-hour days now instead because we might have to get our clinical hours done before spring break just in case we were to go all online.
She says in times like this, people in healthcare have to step up.
We were all a little concerned that, oh, what if we went to clinical one day and that we got it, but at the same time, we know that this is going to be our job and that we'll have to do it eventually.
There are no known cases of coronavirus on campus, but MU leaders say they are taking extra precautions and using the time without students to disinfect campus. Next week, classes will be online. The week after is spring break. Some MU students have mixed reactions and some plan on sticking around campus.
I think a lot of people are going to stay, just lay low.
I wasn't sure how it was going to affect Mizzou, but I think it was a good decision on their part.
But like many healthcare professionals, this is just a part of their everyday.
We were at first kind of shocked that we had to do it, but then after we kind of realized that okay, this is just going to be everyday life, that we would just be okay to do it.
Today we reached out to MU for an interview and they said it's a possibility once things start to calm down. MU leaders also want us to know if you are feeling sick, make sure you give your healthcare provider a call before getting checked out. Reporting live in Columbia, Stephanie LaChance, KOMU 8 News.
We took this story outside of Columbia. We wanted to know how other cities in our area who rely on college crowds are feeling. KOMU 8's Ian Russell spent the day in Fulton asking business owners what their plan is if universities in the area were to shut down. Ian.
Emily, I spoke with one Fulton restaurant who says they've seen an uptick in certain types of sales, but fewer people are coming inside to eat.
The Fulton Cafe has been tucked in this downtown storefront for about a decade.
Yeah, about 2010 is when I can't remember.
Jimmy Trotter owns the place. He sees a lot of college faculty and staff who eat there because there are 2 colleges in town.
Now, we already know Mizzou shut down campuses here until after spring break, but what about other places? What about places like here, Westminster College in Fulton? What happens to them and what happens to the businesses in Fulton if Westminster were to close down?
We depend on them and we depend on the people downtown to come every day. It would definitely affect our business if William Woods and Westminster closed down.
And even though business might slow down, the cafe owners think they'll be okay.
We've noticed the restaurant has slowed down, but the to-go orders have tripled. So maybe for now we're okay.
Trotter knows it's natural to worry.
I'm not going to bring it up in a conversation. I'm going to get... But I mean, we all worry. It's just human to worry.
Part of preventing that worry is cleaning more.
We wash our hands. We clean constantly.
But Trotter knows that no matter what, for him, the restaurant comes first.
Restaurant business is weird because we never know when it's going to be good or bad. You just have to have the doors open.
Westminster College is extending their spring break another week, and William Woods University hasn't closed. Trotter and Atkinson say they'll keep going and plan to stay open. In the studio, I'm Ian Russell, KOMU 8 News.
We want to remind you that the risk to the general public is still low at this time. We're still keeping an eye on that news conference in Springfield. We hear he's taking the podium. We're going to take that now live. Let's take a listen.
The patient is an individual in their 20s from Springfield who had recently traveled to Austria. The patient went to a Cox Health location away from the hospital. The Missouri State Public Health Laboratory has reported a presumptive positive result from COVID-19 and was forwarded the specimen to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention for confirmation. The Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services and the Springfield Greene County Health Department are investigating the situation further and will continue to take all steps necessary to protect the health and safety of Missouri communities. As governor, I have no greater responsibility than to keep all Missourians healthy and safe. I know there is a growing concern across the state and the nation right now, but I want to assure you that we are taking all steps necessary to protect the people of this state. As of today, 73 people have been tested for COVID-19 in the state of Missouri. 71 people have tested negative. Only 2 people have tested positive. Both of these are travel-related cases. So far, there has been no community person-to-person transmission in Missouri. Currently, the Missouri State Public Health Lab has the capacity to test approximately 1,000 specimens. Missouri will also receive nearly $13 million in federal emergency funding to support response efforts. We are currently working on how to use the money to the most effectively protect Missourians. We are in daily communications with the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, our lead agency on this issue in Missouri. I've also been participating in regular briefing calls with the Vice President Pence and other governors for updates from the federal level. From the state and the local level, I have been holding regular briefing calls with mayors, county commissioners, and emergency personnel from across the state. We knew this was coming, and we are taking every precaution we can. We are actively taking steps to protect those under the state's care. As a precautionary measure, the Missouri Veterans Commission has restricted access to our veterans' homes across the state, and the Missouri Department of Corrections announced today that it is suspending visitors at all state correctional facilities. We also know that there will be people traveling and returning home to Missouri. We are aware of this, and we are prepared to handle these situations. Again, I want to assure you that we are taking all steps necessary to protect the health and safety of Missourians. We have an excellent healthcare system equipped with trained professionals, and I am confident that Missouri is well equipped to deal with the coronavirus. However, I want to emphasize that at the end of the day, we are all responsible for our own actions. Use common sense. Practice good hygiene. Wash your hands. Stay at home if you're sick. And if you are told to self-quarantine, it is very important to follow those instructions. At this time, we have not declared a state of emergency for Missouri. My administration will continue to evaluate the situation and all options to provide the resources that are needed will be on the table. And state government will continue to operate and provide services to our citizens. Please know that this situation changes daily. We will continue to be proactive, and we will continue to work closely with the federal, the state, and the local health officials, and emergency personnel and provide you with the most accurate, up-to-date information. I will now turn this over to Mayor McClure, Springfield. Ken?
Governor, thank you, and thank you for your leadership and for that of Dr. Williams and the Department of Health and Senior Services. I'm Ken McClure, Mayor of the City of Springfield.
All right, the governor just wrapped up speaking there at a live news conference in Springfield announcing the state's second presumptive positive case of the coronavirus. He did emphasize that the 2 positive cases we've seen in our state so far are both travel related. The governor emphasized that there has so far been no community person-to-person cases in Missouri. A lot of questions about the tests and the capacity of that in our state. He did bring that up and said that the lab has a capacity for 1,000 specimen tests. We're going to continue following this, of course, and we'll bring you more about this coming up later tonight on KOMU 8 News at 9 and 10.
Tonight, the governor says Missouri has new cases of the coronavirus.
Plus, our state is now under a state of emergency as the virus continues to spread.
And colleges around the country making big changes. MU is no exception. This is KOMU 8 News at 9.
Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News on Mid-Missouri CW starts now.
Tonight, 2 new presumptive positive COVID-19 cases in Missouri, and Governor Parson has declared a state of emergency. President Trump declared a state of emergency for the country earlier today. Good evening, I'm Caroline Dade.
And I'm Jim Rick. Thanks for joining us. Mid-Missourians are preparing for the fallout, with universities taking unprecedented steps to stop the virus's spread. We have a lot to get to tonight. So first, what we know about COVID-19 in Missouri. There have been 4 positive tests in the state. 3 are presumptive positive. 1 was confirmed by the CDC. 2 cases are in St. Louis County, 1 in Springfield, and the 4th location is not known.
Total of 94 individuals have been tested for COVID-19 in Missouri. 90 of these tests have been negative.
During the announcement of 2 new cases of coronavirus, Governor Parson held a news conference declaring that state of emergency.
KOMU 8's Aaron Davis outlines his plan for using state funds to fight the problem.
Among other things, Governor Parson plans to appropriate the $7 million in state funds to make it easier to get tested. The University of Missouri and Washington University will work together to increase the number of state patient tests available. Parson says the state of emergency will provide greater flexibility in utilizing all resources around the state, possibly including temporary testing sites.
We know that testing has become a great concern, and I want Missourians to know that we are working with some of the best resources in the state to address this, whether they are public or private resources.
Parson says the state will not be closing schools or limiting crowd size. Parson says those decisions will be decided at the local level. In the studio, Aaron Davis, KOMU 8 News.
New since 6, the University of Missouri announced just hours ago it will not resume in-person classes this semester. The university will teach classes instead online. KOMU 8's Amber Robb went straight to MU's campus when the university made the announcement. Amber, you've been talking to students about the change all night. How are they feeling?
Upset, angry, and frustrated. Those are just some of the emotions that I've been hearing from Mizzou students tonight. Some of them aren't even sure what to do with the rest of their semesters. Seniors are saying this is crushing. Freshmen are saying they haven't even gotten a chance to get acclimated to campus yet. Everyone's feeling disappointed.
Really bad. Really bad.
How
come? Because Columbia is my home, and so it really just sucks.
Some students have already left for home because the university had already planned to go online for a week. Now their friends are saying they're not coming back. Live in Columbia, I'm Amber Robb, KOMU 8 News.
Columbia Public Schools will have classes Monday. The district plans to update families also on Monday with future plans. The district says it's following the CDC's guidance and is in regular contact with health departments. Nutrition Services is also working to find alternative methods to feed students in need if a closure is necessary.
Well, though we are quickly approaching spring. We will be seeing a return of possibly some wintry-like weather tomorrow. You can see this out ahead here in Nebraska and the Dakotas. Some snowfall even is occurring now. There's some rain in northern Missouri, and that's going to continue to spread our way in the overnight hours. So I think that tonight we will be dealing with a low right around 35 degrees. It'll be mostly cloudy. That rain/rain-snow mix will be spreading in late tonight, and those winds out of the east at 5 to 15 are not going to make it feel any warmer. Here's what I'm talking about. Weathercast tonight at 9 p.m. We're mostly cloudy, but look at this. Rain starts to spread in by about 3 a.m. and tomorrow morning, that's when we're going to start seeing this snow building in. I think the highest chances will be along and north of I-70. Coming up, we'll tell you just what to expect and give you an hour-by-hour timeline in just a little while.
Today, President Trump declared COVID-19 a national emergency. He's invoking the Stafford Act as cases of the virus reach more than 2,000. This gives FEMA more power. It also frees up additional funds.
To unleash the full power of the federal government in this effort today, I am officially declaring a national emergency. Two very big words. The action I am taking will open up access to up to $50 billion.
A big part of the president's plan is a new FDA-approved test for the virus. He wants 1.4 million tests by next week and 5 million within a month. President Trump has been exposed to at least one person who tested positive for the virus. A reporter asked the president if he would be tested. He says he most likely will be tested, even though he's not showing symptoms. He says he will let the public know what the results are.
The Mayo Clinic is joining other hospitals across the country offering drive-through COVID-19 testing. People drive up and medical professionals swab their mouths and noses. The process takes 5 minutes, but the wait time might be longer. Patients are notified of the results after their samples are sent for testing. The clinic says the new testing site takes some of the pressure off of the ER department, but it's still urging people to see their primary care doctor first before they show up.
If you're having fever and these sort of respiratory symptoms, that's a good time to start contacting your primary care office.
The clinic will be open 7 days a week for the foreseeable future. The northern Italian town that recorded the country's first coronavirus infection is seeing staying home works as Italians are facing a nationwide lockdown. A slowdown of infections there led the Italian Prime Minister to impose a new series of measures across the country this week. Most people in the town wear a mask and abide by the 3-foot distance rule when they go outside for a bank to pay bills, to a pharmacy to fill prescriptions, or to a bakery to buy bread.
Coming up, a bounce back on Wall Street. Good news today for stocks.
And is life changing for people as the virus spreads throughout Missouri? That's coming up.
Plus, although we are looking at snow and colder temperatures this weekend, we may have some warmer weather in our pattern in the future. We'll tell you more about that coming up right after the break.